We are very fortunate to have one of the local entrepreneurs in our city that is very well known. He is recognized for not only his community effort and his business knowledge, but also for his time spent on the gridiron. Being a guy from hockey, it's kind of hard for me to know the football lingo, but I'll give it the
Yeah.
shot that I have. So, Obby Khan, thank you so much for joining us. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Oh God, how much time do we have? Short and sweet or nice and long?
Nice and long. We're here for days.
Nice and long. No, I mean, what's there to say? You pretty much summed it up. Born and raised in Ottawa, played football in Vancouver, got traded, drafted to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I made Winnipeg home. Played here for 7 years, retired, set up shop, opened up restaurant, and then another one, and then another one, and another one. Now we have 6. And soon to be, if this COVID didn't happen, we were set to open another one in May. So that's been pushed back now. So we'll have 7 restaurants and rocking and rolling. Big lover of this community and the city and what we're doing. And I think we just got to keep doing it.
Right. You've always been a very positive voice, which I appreciate, because quite often we can always, especially those starting out in business, have kind of a negative attitude as they start, because it's a lot of work. It's a tough hoe. But I know that you live by that theory, which I love, and it's fail often and fail fast.
Amen to that, brother. There's no progress without failure. I've had a lot of failures in my life, and if it was easy, everyone would do it. I mean, you can say whatever cliche you want. I mean, I got a couple on my board behind you here, you can see. But yeah, I mean, being a local business owner, a small business owner is tough. At its best days, it's tough. $5,000 in sales, $20,000 at the football stadium, and it's still tough days. It's always a grind, and I think unfortunately or fortunately, with the circumstances we have now, it's even harder.
Yeah, I think that's why it's important. I think for a lot of people right now to support local business as much as they can, because most people don't understand the grind that you do go through. It might look like you're lined up and busy, but there's a lot of expense and a lot of your own personal time that's going in there that you're not getting paid for.
Yeah, it's people look at entrepreneurship and say, "Oh my God, it's so awesome! You own your own business, you make your own hours, you cut your own paychecks, you drive your own fancy car, whatever it is." But there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes. Even now driving into work today, I saw 2 other fellow business owners in different industry, and one of them was at their apartment block, and one of them was at another retail business. And I said, "Hey, you guys are still working?" They said, "We got to work, COVID or not. We got to go to work." I mean, I'm in my office today. There's no one else in my office, but it's just me working away, and I've been this way for the last couple of weeks, and I'll continue to do this until the bitter end. It's a constant grind. It's a constant work. There's the ups and downs, but entrepreneurs are wired a bit different, and I think we are always eternal optimists. Even with all this crap going on now, I still see a silver lining for at least my business, and I think you have to see it. Whether it's there, obvious or not, you got to look for it, because I don't have someone else writing my paycheck. Actually, I don't have anyone writing a paycheck now. Hopefully the feds will step in and give me some money. But I'm working every day to put food on the table, and I love what I do, and I'll keep doing it.
Well, you're certainly known for that, and for your, obviously your passion to get things done and your passion to win. And I share that certainly that love with you for the entrepreneurial spirit, and I have often thought that it was one of the best qualities people can have, because you're right. It's 7 days a week. It's 24 hours a day. I loved it. I try to keep that same attitude and same work ethic when I went into politics out of the blue, because I think that's really what will lead you to the next level, and that's really what fuels our economy the most. Believe it or not, small business does do a lot for our economy, and I think it's interesting. I had a conversation with an owner of a very big sports team in town. We don't have to say but one of the points that he mentioned was it's the small business that keeps this place going, right? You drive down some of our streets, you drive around the exchange, it's small business that is bringing that back to life.
Yeah, I mean, you look at 75 to 80% of the workforce out there is small business, less than 100 people. I mean, I had 65 staff roughly before this COVID crisis. I mean, that's 65 employees. That's a lot. 7 retail storefronts. I mean, we're paying a lot in commercial taxes and bills and driving this economy forward. And I think people really realize that now. There's been a push over the last couple of years to shop local, to support local, and I think people are really seeing that now. It's amplified now with COVID. What's happening now is people are saying, hey, we really need to get out and support local. I think it's a matter of finding the way to support local, but Winnipeg is unique on its own. I mean, you've been everywhere and I've traveled the world, and Winnipeg is its own beautiful community that loves to support Winnipeg. And that's why I set up shop here after I retired. I mean, I could have gone back to Ottawa and got a government job. I knew some people in there. I could have moved to Vancouver, where I went to school, but I chose Winnipeg because of its unique community and the love we have for each other here.
It is a special community, much different. I spent time in Calgary and Toronto and other places, but this place does have that unique ability to stick together. This morning we were driving around to some residents in our area that are home alone, like they're stuck in there. They have medical conditions. They cannot leave the house. Just dropping off some coffee and muffins for them, and that's just, and the people that wanted to volunteer just came out of nowhere. That's what Winnipeg is. And I'm hoping that we continue with that spirit, and even more so when we get back to our new normal, which I think it will be, is a new normal. But what most concerns you about the city right now with the COVID-19? What are you looking at and saying, you know what, I'm worried that we're not doing enough there?
I mean, that's a big loaded question. I think with the social isolation here, we're doing this really good. I think as far as the rates go, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but you see the rates, you look at what Manitoba's doing versus other provinces, I think we're good there. What I don't think we're doing is, as a small business owner, I'm concerned is what's going to happen in a month or 2 or 3, right? If this comes to an end in a month, are we ready to get things open? And it's not going to be where we left off. It's not going to be, you're not going to have the people on the streets and the stadiums are going to be packed. It's going to take a while to get back to that. But are we even ready for a month or 2 months from now as a city or as a society? And I don't think people are even thinking that way yet. And I think we really need to. And, well, what does that mean? That means, for a small business owner, bringing back my staff, my supplies, having cash flow, making sure that, people can feel welcome and comfortable in the store. But as a city, are we ready as far as all our services go throughout the city? Are we ready for, transit? Are we ready for medical? Are we ready for just on so many folds? I think we might be just stuck in the bittersweet right now, or the bitterness right now, but we really need to plan and not only plan, like, let's open the doors, like, how can we make it better? Right. We want to open the doors and be like, we're better than what we were before, which isn't necessarily going to be the reality, but we have to go in with the mindset that we're going to change our new normal, like you said, because it's not going to get back to what it was, but maybe we can modify and identify ways to get better, things that we weren't doing well before. How do we do that better? And I'm not sure if people are thinking that way yet. I started to think that way as far as my business goes, and as far as new ideas and concepts and just the way we're going to run our operations go. But I don't know if we're looking at that as a city. I don't know if we are. I haven't heard anything about that, but I really hope we are, and that really worries me, because if we are dormant during this phase right now, just sitting on our butt saying, "Oh, it's fine, let's just socially isolate and sit at home and watch Netflix," we're gonna be in for a rude awakening when it comes time to rock and roll.
Yeah, very well said, and a concern that I share with you. I think that this is the opportune time to be building a strong base from which our economy can launch, because we really will have to have some firm ground for the local business to launch from. There's some that won't make it through if we keep going on longer and longer. And what actions are we doing today to really be in it with them? It's also an opportune time, and listen, they're doing it in every private sector across the country right now, is evaluating their processes, evaluating.
You took my answer. You took the answer right out of my mouth.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
Yeah, you told. But you 100% evaluate what me. I'm taking this time to look back. But a couple of my office staff is still kept on, because I don't want to lay everyone off and try to keep as many people, and I'm trying to keep them. Say, hey guys, from a business point of view, are we hitting our targets? Is our food cost in line? Our labor cost in line? Where can we get better? Well, how can we tweak this recipe? Because when we come out of this, we want to be better. So we're really not sitting there just saying, oh, woe me, let's just open when it's time to open. We got to, and as a society, are we doing that as a city or as a province? Are we sitting there saying, hey, let's look at some of our budgets. Let's look at some of our numbers. Let's look at some of our systems we had in place and say, well, this doesn't really make sense. Why are we doing it this way? Because we can make those changes now and rock and roll when it comes time to open. And that's what I really hope that we're doing as a society or as a group. As city, I mean, you're a city councilor. I don't know, because it's the perfect time to do it. It's the absolute perfect time to do it. So when we do come out of this, where's the support for small businesses to get them going full tilt? I mean, I know just one small example, and I'm going to ramble on here. But, you know, I was a real big advocate for the parking rates in the exchange, right? There's a big fight with the budget, and I pushed for the exchange rate or the parking to be changed. And now, you know, I didn't win necessarily on that, but COVID came in, and the city has said, okay, we'll give you an hour of free parking in the exchange. Okay, great. We ended up getting an hour. Unfortunately, it took us COVID to get there. But when we open, are we just going to get rid of that?
Yeah.
Or are we going to say, no, you know what, let's keep this for another 6 months because small businesses need people to come back to their businesses. That's something that could be like a silver lining or, you know, something to look forward to as a business owner. If this was an announcement was made saying, hey, we're going to keep free parking in the exchange in downtown for 6 months because that's what businesses need. Like, are we thinking that way? I don't know if we are.
No, but you did steal my thunder on that one because we're even. My belief was that those are the little things that we should be doing right now and letting people know that are coming. I think it was great that we, you know, deferred some taxes for a while, and not a large number of homes are going to have to take it. Will take advantage of that. They'll continue to pay. I mean, the city said that themselves, but deferring some payments for a small business, it just kind of defers the end for them because they still have to pay that when they come back, and they've gone several months without income. And we have to start thinking, now I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, you know, you can't run the government like a business. Fair enough that a business focuses on profit, they focus on EBITDA and on efficiencies. And I'll stop there because there are some things that we do in business that we should be doing as a city. We're certainly not focused on the profitability, but we are focused on efficiencies and improved service. I would much rather see us, you know, find what that secret number is. If it's people with under, you know, 100 FTEs, that we suspend their business tax right now. We suspend that because they don't have any revenue coming in to pay that. And it seems unfair to say, well, you've got to give us our money, even though you're not getting any money.
You're not getting any money. Yeah, and you're totally right, bang on. I mean, you're right. The small business or business and city and civil service and public services are different, but at the end of the day, they merge, in my opinion, as a business owner. But I am a very socialist business owner. I don't know, like I'm a very community-minded business owner. There's nothing wrong with running them two hand in hand and saying, hey, we got to look out for, you know, the bottom line. We got to look profitability. We got to, because that money is just going to go back into the city. How can we you know, drive up your top line, keep your bottom line high, get your expenses down? I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, what we do at the business level, whether I sell shawarmas for $6 or I'm hawking them at the stadium for 10, or you're running a city, there's just more lines in the ledger, and that's all it comes down to. And then you always got to think, okay, well, how can we increase that? And a real big worry, again, I feel like a broken record, is when we come out of this, are we going to be rocking and rolling and giving the businesses the support they need to continue to do that? What does that look like? Well, it looks like lots of things. It looks like parking. It looks like taxes. It looks like hiring back employees. Maybe there's a training group. You know, you got to bring them back. You got to train them. Maybe there's programs out there that small business can tap into you know, I don't know if we're even thinking that way. I think we're still so caught up in the isolate, stay at home, watch Netflix, and when this is done, we go back to work. And that, it's not going to be. It's a new norm now, and we have to be ready for that. Or else, as an economy and a society, we'll just crash, continue to crash.
Yep. And I think it's, again, a valid point, because, I mean, with a business, you're looking for ROI, your return on investment, but there's also a lot of businesses now that are even more successful than most that look at the ROI, but also look at the ROS, and that's the return on society. So what is that doing? What are you doing for the community? How are you bringing back customers? How are you giving back? Because that's become so much more important. And with the COVID, I think you're right, this is an opportunity for us to find new ways. You look at some of the biggest companies right now, they've changed, you know, manufacturing overnight to start developing needed respiratory systems and so on. So it can happen. And it doesn't have to be, oh, you just want to cut, cut, cut. It could be, no, I want to reallocate resources so that we are ready to go when the buzzer ends this COVID, these restrictions, that the economy can launch and launch strong. And people have less to worry about, because
Yeah.
I think there's so much pressure on people right now, and so much, of the unknown that you said so well,
Yeah.
that we have to start saying to people, yes, it's unknown, but here's what we're going to do when it's all over. Here's the plan.
Yeah.
And we need to make some bold decisions now in order to do that.
Could not agree with you more. I mean, company culture is, I believe, you look at whatever study you want, whatever book you want by Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they talk about culture, Simon Sinek. It's the culture of a company. It's the culture of a city. It's the culture of a community. And that's why Winnipeg is so special. But businesses, I run the same ways. I try to keep a real positive culture in our company. I've tried to keep on as many people as we can. And whoever we've had to lay off, we try to help them and say, this is how we apply for this. This is the steps we do. There is the CERB program out there. There is the EI program out there. Come back to me, talk to me. And we can work together. But that creates the culture within my company where everyone's like, hey, I sent out a survey to all my staff, anonymous, saying, do you want to come back and work? And everyone said yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the culture we want people to come back to, right? So as a culture, as a society, what are we doing to create this positive culture? And we all know we're in the trenches right now, but we're going to come out of this. And are we going to have a culture that's positive, optimistic, looking forward to saying, hey, we got to get together, bind together as a business community or as a community, and really have a positive outlook and shape the future of what we're going to do? That's the way I'm viewing it. And I really hope that other people are viewing it that way too, that this isn't the doom and gloom. It's not the end of the world here. It sucks for a lot of people in a lot of situations, but we can bind together. And Winnipeg's done that really well. I mean, you look at the local campaigns that are being run right now throughout the city to support local. It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing, from T-shirt sales with the community T-shirt. I don't know if have you seen those T-shirts? This is community. What does it say? It says community isn't broken or isn't still here.
No, I haven't seen them. Where do you get them?
You haven't seen them? I'm going to send you the link. So I'm going to do it right now. So it's a T-shirt that friends of mine put together for Winnipeg Harvest. 100% of proceeds go to Harvest because Harvest is taking a real hit right now. And they said we need to support Harvest. So they made this T-shirt. It's called Community Shirt. You can't see it on my phone here, but it says community isn't canceled. It's amazing. And it's just got a Manitoba logo and it says community isn't canceled. Their goal was to do a couple $1,000, $2,000 T-shirts. We'll print them. Well, actually, they didn't even print them because they don't know how many they're going to sell. They're over $7,000.
Wow.
And T-shirt, and all that money goes to Harvest, right? You look at the Peg Authentic on Court, and they're doing a T-shirt. Same thing. Proceeds are going to Winnipeg Harvest. Community is coming together. You look at Portegra Group and Local Futures. They did a program. It's not like a gift card program. It's actually better than a gift card program. It's you're investing money now, and Shawarma Khan's in there, and Green Carrots in there. You're giving the business money now so that they can have cash flow, capital now, and you're going to receive not a 1-to-1. You're going to receive a 1 to 1.5 dividend in the back end. So if you give me $100 now, you're going to get 150 when we reopen in savings. It's a great deal. Who wouldn't take that?
Yeah.
Right? Like not a 1-to-1, because people want to support local. They're buying gift cards. I've sold more gift cards now. But this is an even better program. For me as a business, I get the money now. It keeps my doors open, or it keeps me allowed to pay the bills. But you're getting a 1 to 1.5 return on this when we do reopen. Innovative thinking like that is what's going to get us through this. And you really hope that the city, and I know you're part of the city, so I'm saying you, and the rest of the people that sit around that fancy table and the private table off to the side, come up with ideas to really drive the culture of our city in a positive way forward.
That's very well said. I think that's exactly what we should be doing. I'd like to see more of it because I think this is the right time for it. This is not the time for the city to be getting involved with the public health measures. We have experts and medical people at the province that are taking care of all that. We just have to follow their lead. If everybody stays in their lane, the feds stay in their lane, the province in theirs, and we stay in ours, then we're going to have a much better outcome here. And I think the city should be looking at, not tomorrow, but have some milestones in place so we're changing what the strategy might be when we hit this number. We hit this many days, it changes to this, and we'll put more money towards that. And that's really what I've been trying to promote among all the other councillors, was saying, yes, we're dealing with a pandemic. This is one big wave. but there's another wave coming behind it, and we have the opportunity to, you know, make that one way less impactful than what it could be now. So
yeah, and I
hopefully they
think
will be.
yeah, and you said it right. Like I think the feds personally have done a pretty solid job of what they can do. I mean, this is a massive, massive thing no one's ever dealt with before. And you know, the $40,000 small business program they have, the program through BDC they have, the 75% wage subsidy. I mean, these are all amazing programs. For me as a small business, that's like, hey, this is actually okay. We're gonna be okay. We actually might come out even better. With the 25% of the loan that can be forgiven and the 75% wage subsidy would let me keep on a couple of my real key people to come up with better ways to when we do launch. That's a federal thing. And you're right, stay in your lane, right? But the feds are providing a solution for us now to keep our doors open and get ready to open. But when we open, what do we do? What do we do when we open? How do we do it? How do we do it better than anyone else in this country? So that we can have the most success of our small businesses opening their doors and getting people back into those doors. And I think programs like Local Futures is doing a fantastic job of that by giving people such a great dividend or offering on this deal. So let's put on our think caps at City Council, and let's come up with some ideas to really drive the city forward once we reopen.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I think that the stronger we have, the stronger we launch our economy, could do wonders for us even further down the road, with more businesses looking to that success that we had for our local 100%. Businesses, and they'll be wanting to come here and say, okay, well, at least they're already past the one hurdle. We don't have to wait for that somewhere else. Because the problem we have to worry about is that, and a lot of people, you see construction happening and permits being handed out. If those slow down for any reason, a lot of corporations that were planning to build strip malls or a grocery store, for example, we want to keep on top of those and make sure we're helping those businesses and the people through the process, because it's too easy for them right now to say, you know what, we're just going to put this on hold for a while. And once it's on hold, it takes a long, long time to come back. So, and that's what I mean about saying we need to be focusing our energy in our lane, and that is our lane. That's the lane we should be driving, because that's going to drive more business. We should be looking at free parking zones that come back for local businesses and so on.
Yeah, so, I totally agree with you. A part of that thinking, because I'm a little crazy and I'm a serial entrepreneur, got me thinking of how can I innovate my business? How can I come up with new ideas, new concepts to help local, right? So I actually have we talked about this a little bit before, but I'm going to be launching in about 2 weeks. I have another business that I'm opening because I'm not busy enough. I said, let's do something else. But when I really looked at it, I got creative with a couple of friends saying, hey, what's the problem? Everyone wants to support local. How do we support local? How can we support local better? How can we do it in a way that works for everyone, but not only for COVID or during this crisis, but 365 days a year for the next 10 years? What can we come up with? So I'll come up with a really, I'm not reinventing the wheel, but I'm bringing the wheel to Winnipeg, to say the least. And we'll launch in a couple of weeks. I'll have a massive press conference. There'll be probably 1 or 2 people there. Probably just be me and one other person, because that's all you can have in a room now. But it's exciting, right? And this is the type of thinking that, me as an entrepreneur, as a little guy who just runs a couple restaurants, is coming up with how we could support local. And, you hope that other people are starting to think this way too. And what can we do? So I'm excited for the next chapter. And I think this is a silver lining for me with what's happening. And you just got to change your lens. You got to change your channel. You got to view it differently. And once you can view it differently and say, this is a real opportunity for me to do something awesome, you can do it.
If you don't try, you won't know. Remember, fail fast, fail often, and you'll get there. I always go back to the Colonel Sanders story. He was over 60. He drove across America in some station wagon he had, trying to find somebody that would buy his recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken. He went to 1,005 places. And on his way back, he said, I'll stop at another one. He stops at one, and bang, that guy did it with them. The rest is history.
Look at that now, right? So that's an opportunity to look back and say, hey, in early 2020, this is where we're at quarantine, and this is what came out of it. Some of the biggest businesses have come out of after these types of, 2008 crash and post 9/11. There was a big business line. Like, there's always businesses or opportunities, or as a city, as a society, as a culture, to come out of this with a different lens. And I think Manitoba's doing a great job of that. I mean, our numbers are, for what they are, I think are fantastic. Let's keep riding that, and we'll look forward to the future.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Avi. Now, look, part of what I'm doing with these interviews is I have a contest going on for kids usually, but adults can play along too in our ward or across the city. But I'm buying a gift certificate from different places to $20 gift certificate. So it promotes our local business and it gets people thinking of some different things. So part of this now is that we ask our friends that have come on and spoken to us about this, which I appreciate, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Three
you.
questions. So I'm going to ask you just three pretty normal, pretty fun questions. And then your answer
Okay.
people will have to remember it and put it down on the form online. So are you ready?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Do it.
So what was your very first job?
Oh, you cut out there. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, sorry. What was your very first job?
Nope. Lost you.
Oh, hang
Losing
on.
you.
Don't lose me. I think you're just saying that because you don't know. Can you hear me? No?
There you are. I
There.
can hear you now. You're back.
Okay, we're
now.
back. We're back.
There you go.
What was your very first job?
What was my?
First job.
Oh, that's easy. Delivering newspapers. The Ottawa Citizen.
Should have been the Sun, but that's okay. We'll let that go. The Ottawa Citizen. I prefer the Sun, but that's okay. I don't know if you can hear me yet, but I was saying, of course, being CEO for Sun Media out here, I would have preferred you delivered the Ottawa Sun. But that's okay.
You know what? Here, this is cutting out. Can you hear me okay? Or is it cutting out pretty bad?
No, I can hear you fine. It must be on my end. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you. It's a little choppy, but yeah. So Ottawa Citizen was the first job I had.
Okay. If you could, during COVID, obviously you got a little free time, not much. What's your favorite movie to watch?
Well, a favorite movie to watch. I love the Mission Impossible series. The Tom Cruise series. I love them. I love the action scenes. I love the story. I actually just watched Mission Impossible Fallout again last night. I think I watched it twice in the last couple of weeks. So, huge Mission Impossible fan.
All right, last one for you now. If you your favorite artist, you're listening to tunes. You're at the office by yourself. You got some music on in the background. Who does Obby Khan turn to?
Obby Khan depends on the mood I'm in, but I really like when I'm working to listen to like relaxing, chill music. So I listen to a pianist. His name is, I'm going to say it wrong, he's an Italian pianist, Ludovico Inueda. He's the Divinier, Nuit Blanche, or his really big ones, but Ludovico Inueda. I saw him in Toronto a few years back, and I was crying in the audience. The whole audience was in tears. It was a small venue, 100 people, Italian composer, the best.
Perfect. Well, listen, Obby, thanks for all you're doing in the city. Thanks for being a small business owner here and for being as positive as you are. I will keep pushing to help as much as I can, and I know others will too, because we need more people like yourself, and we need to do our part to make sure you don't want to go anywhere else, that you want to stay here. So thank you so much.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate all the work you do. You let me know whenever I can help. I'm always ready to lend a hand to the city, and we're going to come out on top of this thing in a better position than we were going in. So we're going to be good.
Agreed.
Awesome. Thanks, Kev.
Thanks, buddy. Talk to you.